Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 2, Episode 102. This is the first edition of NXT Rage. That's right, our first brand split show. Just a reminder, we're going to quickly get into it really quick again before we get into the show. We will have Rage this week, Resistance next week, Rage the following, Resistance the following, and etc. through the end of Season 2 to get us to where we need to get to go, and then we will reevaluate from that point. But tonight is NXT Rage. You guys know of 10 workers who were part of the NXT Rage brand, but you know of nobody else, and we'll get into that all tonight. The camera shows William Regal in his office as the fans cheer, that is, until the camera pans and shows Triple H. The fans boo. Triple H says, while he looks for NXT Resistance second show's commissioner, you, William Regal, will serve as both. Regal says he understands and thanks Triple H for his time this evening. The two seemingly passed whatever confrontation they were having at the end of last season and early parts of this season for the sake of NXT. So an 85B+ out the gate, obviously my two most over members of my roster, and I will tell you right now, I have taken the show down from 2 hours to an hour and a half. We will be playing it by ear. We went from 1 hour to 2 hours. We've taken it down to an hour and a half because my roster is much smaller, but I plan on getting it back up to 2 hours as the rosters expand and fill back out. Will that be before the end of the season? I'm not sure. So instead of seeing 6 and sometimes 7 matches per show, we're going to be getting back to 4, sometimes 5 matches per show. And I'm going to let you guys know out the gate tonight and the next event as well. Next couple shows are going to be very, very segment heavy because we're going to be building the two separate brands. So expect 4, max 5 matches for the next couple weeks as we roll in through NXT Rage and NXT Resistance. So an 85B+ out the gate. Tom Phillips, Nigel McGuinness, and Byron Saxton welcome us to NXT. Tom Phillips says that tonight on NXT, we're going to have one hell of a show. The camera sounds at them for a while as we fade to ringside. So Byron Saxton debuted his old school face gimmick, and in typical Byron Saxton fashion, it's got an awful rating, but he was already improving, even though he was underwhelming. No skill improvements, but Tom Phillips gets his old buddy from NXT, Byron Saxton, to join him and Nigel McGuinness. Steve Corino has been moved to NXT Resistance, where he will be part of a 2 or 3-man booth, but as of right now, a 2-man booth with someone who I hope to have been signed in place by, it'll be interesting. We'll see how the days time out, but Steve Corino will be on Resistance with a new announcer, and maybe someone else on commentary with him. But as of right now, Tom Phillips, Nigel McGuinness, and Byron Saxton are your new NXT Rage television crew. 71C+. In a terrible match, though, Chad Gable defeats Sam Udell in 5-3-51 by submission. Chad Gable, as we announced in our NXT Rage and Resistance draft, has made his return to NXT and gets the tap-out victory over Sam Udell. 60 for Gable, 13 for Udell, which probably got us a 37 rating. 13 and 60. Gable was great, though. Old school face, great. That's awesome. Chad Gable's, apparently Sam Udell got a bonus for star quality. That's great. Do we have any negatives for Gable? Holding back, inconsistency, and tons for Sam Udell. That's all right. Poor booking decisions. We'll have to look into that after the fact. But yeah, Gable is back here in NXT with a 37D-. Chad is improving in performance. That's great. After having won his match now, Chad Gable grabs a microphone and screams, "I'm home!" into the mic as the fans are on their feet cheering Chad Gable a standing ovation. Gable goes to speaking when the GOA team, the greatest of all time theme, hits as Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli show up on the entrance ramp. Tino with a microphone in hand. Tino says while Gable left the WWE, he hadn't abandoned ship. Himself and Moss stayed to continue and help grow the NXT brand, so you're welcome. Gable can be seen challenging Sabatelli and Moss to come to the ring. However, Sabatelli and Moss just look at one another and begin to laugh. "Please," says Sabatelli, "we aren't going to just come down to the ring whenever you want us to. No. We're too good for that." "But if it's what the fans want," says Moss, "money talks." Sabatelli and Moss leave the ramp and head backstage as they just came out to spoil Chad Gable's successful post-debut promo. So that's right. As with the brand split, we are going to be kind of starting from scratch, much like we did about the 1st through 10th episodes. Our ratings, 1st through 30th actually, our ratings are going to go back to being really low in some segments, but Chad Gable returns here to NXT, and Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss are the two that are opposing him out the gate. Clearly, this is going to be a path for Chad Gable to get over, But that's exactly what we're going to do out the gate. Tino and Riddick Moss, given the fact that the rosters are split, we need to use them. So the Money Talks debuts walk storyline has advanced and no scale improvements, but a 51D plus and a segment held by Chad Gable, who's a 53 over. I will take it. 51D plus. No, we'll continue. Next, the camera finds William Regal shaking his head, and as he turns around, TM shaking his head after what he just saw with Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss, that is, TM61, Nick Miller, and Shane Thorne walk in and shake William Regal's hand. Hey guys, says William Regal, I think I know what you're looking for. Nick Miller says that Shane and him talked, and they know that their championship opportunity against Sanity is now no longer possible as they are on Resistance, but it still doesn't change the fact that they were granted a championship shot. William Regal says he knows, and that's why he has a compromise. Well, sorta. Regal says that tonight we're going to see Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker take on the Blake and Murphy factor. Blake and Murphy take on the Britt Am Connection, Denny Burch and Oni Lorcan, and the winner of those matches will take on TM61 next week, and the winner of that match will have the NXT TakeOver, name pending, to take on the Authors of Pain. Most likely we're going to go with NXT TakeOver Rage, NXT TakeOver Resistance for the two NXT TakeOvers leading to NXT TakeOver Legacy 2, which is our WrestleMania. Not sure yet. Maybe not. Probably not, actually, but we're doing name pending. I'll have a name by the next event. Shane Thorne decides though, but shakes William Regal's hand. Thorne says he gets it, and the shows are split, so things are different. So basically tonight, because TM61 was screwed by Sanity at NXT TakeOver 100, they were supposed to get a match tonight inside of a steel cage against Sanity for the United States Tag Team Championships, which are now in Resistance. Nick Miller and Shane Thorne instead have to settle for a bye into the match next week, where they'll face Heavy Machinery, Blake and Murphy, or the Britt Am Connection, and the winner of those matches will face the Authors of Pain at NXT TakeOver, name pending. So it is what it is. We had to kind of scrap that plan. Unfortunate, but that's all right. 74 B minus. Like I said, the roster split is because you all you fans wanted it on Facebook and on TEW and on Reddit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and give the people what they want, which was a brand split, and we will shift plans from there. 74 B minus. Not too bad. And as you can see right here, I just noticed this. I forgot to update this before the show. I apologize. I just noticed right now that I forgot to update my wallpaper. I'm not going to go back and restart the show, but I promise that it will be updated by the next event. I don't like to do that, but I'm on a short leash tonight, and I really don't have time to go back and re-record, so I really do apologize. 74 B minus. All right, next month, and about that terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd, Dakota Kai defeats Zia Brookside in 4:55 by pinfall with a tote road splash. Dakota Kai get a victory over Robbie Brookside's daughter, Zia, who's in NXT UK. She's up for one match. 16:47. She's actually pretty good in ring. Dakota Kai is not suited to her gimmick. No skill improvements, but a 31E plus and a non-Divas match isn't great. But given that Zia is like a 2-overness, it is what it is. And this was kind of like a jobber match to get Dakota over here because she is a face that we're going to have to utilize in the brand split. So it's going to be fun for me to book a lot of these other workers, a lot of these other women in a prominent role that I hadn't been doing in the future, or not in the future, but in the past. Because, yeah, we're just going to have to do it because we have no other choice now. 31E plus. Next up, though, we get a recap of Carmella returning to NXT and getting back to the Bay Mela with Bayley and Sasha getting jealous. We see Sasha dealing with it, Bayley ignoring her accidentally or without realizing for Carmella. Footage then airs of Bayley being hurt and talking to Carmella, completely skipping Sasha. We then see Carmella consoling Bayley before Sasha could get to her after losing her prestigious NXT Women's World Championship to Asuka. Then, after having her arm injured against Asuka in a rematch, Bayley skipped her again, looked to Carmella, and Sasha just lost it. We see recap from NXT TakeOver 100 now with Sasha turning heel on Carmella and beating her up so bad referees and agents had to break it up. Sasha will be here next week. Bayley was great. Carmella was great. Sasha was great. So all three of these women were great. Can't complain there. 63C for the three core women in the division going forward, along with Ruby Riott, of course, of the Ellering Dynasty. 63-3 for these women. Next up, a video plays hyping Bobby Roode. The new NXT Heavyweight Champion will be here tonight and will close out the show. All right here, 84B plus. Next up, we see the Authors of the Pain with Rachel Ellering and Ruby Riott to scout their upcoming triple threat match as they're coming to the ring. Ruby Riott was great. Akon was a star. Razor was fantastic. Ellering looked good, so the entire Ellering Dynasty looked great. The next chapter storyline has advanced, 66C plus. And again, we were really heavy on the segments, guys, and I do apologize for the heavy on the segments, but I'm having to basically build, 20 or 16 to 18 storylines instead of 8 to 9. So it's going to be segment heavy for a couple weeks, but bear with me, please, until we get everyone to where they need to get to. 66C plus. All right. And about that had great wrestling, but didn't have much heat. The Bridam connection of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burt in a surprise defeat Blake and Murphy and Heavy Machinery in 1352 by eliminating both Blake and Murphy, followed by Heavy Machinery. Danny Burt was a weak link, though, couldn't keep with them in performance. Burke put in a 38, Lorcan with a 58, 60, and 59 for Tucker and Knight. And Dazovic and Blake and Murphy with solid but steady 50. Murphy is improving in performance skills, a 53 C- between these workers. So here you go. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are going to be advancing to face TM61, Nick Miller, and Shane Thorne next week, with the winner taking on the Authors of Pain at NXT TakeOver. Name pending. 53 C-. All right, next we got a hype video for tonight's main event match. It's going to feature Sami Zayn and Tommaso Ciampa, 2/3 of what used to be House NXT, taking on Aleister Black and Hideo Itami, 2 of the 3 men who fought Roderick Strong at NXT TakeOver 100 for the NXT Junior, now NXT World Championship, 88B+, though, so this match should be amazing, I'm hoping, for my better workers. All right, next, the camera finds Sami Zayn and Tommaso Ciampa in the back getting ready for their main event match tonight against Aleister Black and Hideo Itami. Zayn, looking upset at Champa, walks over and puts his arm around him. Zayn tells Champa he misses Johnny too, which causes Champa to look at Zayn cross-eyed. Champa says 20 picks. 20 picks were made in the NXT draft, and I was not one of them, says Champa. How am I not one of 20, asks Champa. Zayn curls his lip, now understanding. Zayn tries to cheer up Champa, but Champa ends up getting up and leaving the locker room area, telling Sami he needs to think. So Champa, he's not happy. 20 picks were made, 20 picks were shown, and how did Champa not get picked? Maybe if he would have ended up with Johnny, he would have been okay, but he's not okay with this. Ciampa's not okay being overlooked, and he shouldn't have been overlooked. So Ciampa's definitely upset at what happened at the draft. Not necessarily upset at where he landed on Rage, but he's upset at what happened at the draft, and he feels like he really should have been focused on more. 86B+. Next up in the main event, and an exceptional match, Sami Zayn and Tommaso Ciampa defeat Aleister Black and Hideo Itami in 13 minutes when Sami Zayn defeats Hideo Itami by pinfall with a brainbuster. So 85 and 88 for Zayn and Ciampa, 72 and 70 for Itami and Black. No skill improvements, but an absolutely great match. This came out, got the crowd interested again. Hideo Itami is getting better at his gimmick. 74B- for the main event tonight on NXT. All right. Next up, after the match, Sami Zayn stands up celebrating, and all the while Tommaso Ciampa shoots him a dirty look after Sami Zayn stole the pin from Tommaso Ciampa, or so he feels like, further overshadowing Ciampa, or so he feels. Aleister Black and Hideo Itami put in a valiant effort since Tom Phillips, but tonight was Zayn and Ciampa's night. The scene fades out for the evening, in the ringside area at least, with Sami Zayn standing victorious with Ciampa, of course. Ciampa was good, Black foreshadowed a heel turn. So Black as well is kind of playing both sides. I'm not sure if I'm going to turn him heel or not, but we're going to go ahead and leave him there because we want to make a decision. And I have a couple guys setting to turn back and forth depending on how the roster plans out. Either way, we can cancel the turns as we need to, but I want to be prepared in case I need to do it. BK plays. We don't want none of those shock turns like you, buddy. So we're going to try to be prepared. 88B+. Don't want to leave anyone jaded, BK. All right, next up, we see Bobby Roode walking towards the ring. He's coming to the ring next. So Bobby Roode's coming to the ring for, I guess, his ceremony of sorts. But quickly, one more time, a quick reminder, this is just OOC for me. The next show will be NXT TakeOver Resistant Guys again, not Rage, and will take us to a full week forward. The following NXT show will be NXT Rage, having been taken another week forward, thus having been a week off. This is the new format for the rest of Season 2. Again, this is just OOC, but I put it into the game because this is kind of like a video commercial airing, letting us know exactly what's going on. 82B. All right, and in the final segment, we come out to see a video package, and Bobby Roode is finishing making his entrance with the NXT Heavyweight Championship. Bobby Roode asks for and is given him a live microphone, and he immediately begins to thank the NXT fans for continuing to believe in him throughout the trials and tribulations. Bobby gets a standing ovation. Roode puts down the microphone. He exits the ring and begins to shake the hands with all of the first row fans and goes from side to side. As he reaches the final side, however, a man in a hoodie jumps from the railing from behind and sends Bobby Roode into the ring steps, sending the NXT Heavyweight Champion crashing and the title flying into the air. The man in the hoodie grabs the championship, pulls his hoodie down further to hide his face, and hops back over the barriers, sprinting out of the arena with the NXT Heavyweight Championship. William Regal is seen running out now, confused as to what just happened as the show ends. So, yeah, guys, Bobby Roode came out, celebrated with the fans. It was a long, hard time, but episode 1 and 100 ended the same way with Bobby Roode as a champion, and a man whose hand he was shaking, jumps the barrier, nails him from behind. The title goes flying. The man in the hoodie grabs the championship, jumps over the barricade, pulls down the hoodie and runs out of Dodge before anyone could find out. So an 89-8 to end the show, which is absolutely grating. The man in the hoodie has debuted with a no gimmick needed. It's got an initial rating. The man in the hoodie clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off the script and perform well. William Regal worked the crowd well. The man in the hoodie looked dreadful in the segment, though. Whatever. William Regal came across well. No skill improvements, but Adar, don't worry. Unlike Mr. NXT, we will be telling you who the man in the hoodie is very soon. The man in the hoodie runs off with an NXT Heavyweight Championship from Bobby Roode, surprisingly so, and that will ending NXT Rage this week. 89-8 to end the show. Hopefully we get a 75 at least. A 70, all right. This shows that NXT didn't have enough general interesting storylines going on. It increased our popularity in 29 regions, so we didn't lose popularity, but we didn't gain much either. So this was NXT The Game, Season 2, Episode 101, NXT Rage, the first show of the brand split. And we're going to have to see who the man in the hoodie is sooner rather than later. But guys, unfortunately, you're not going to get it next week. You're going to have to wait till the week after because next week is NXT Resistance. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a glorious rest of your day.